Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Spiritual Nomad podcast and YouTube. And today I'm coming to you from one of my most favorite places, and that is my very own patio right here in Carlsbad, California, where I spend a lot of time reading, meditating, thinking, working. All sorts of things happen on this very little patio. So today I thought it'd be a good idea to just record a podcast episode here, but it is outside, so please forgive me, if you hear any trucks going by or planes or babies yelling next door or what have you. So I wanted to record it out here because I've been out here working this morning and I was really in a great meditation and contemplative space. And so I thought, let's just keep this vibe going and record out here today. So I also have some chimes that you can probably hear as well. So I might have to pause and take those down. We'll see. But today is a really important video. It's one that I've wanted to make for quite some time. And today's video is based on my Instagram bio. I got a message about that a few days ago, and it's not the first time that I've got this message. So I thought it's a perfect time to kind of dialogue and explore this idea of the difference between mystic Christianity and progressive Christianity. And so in my bio, it says that I'm an Exvangelical pastor, which means I don't ascribe to the evangelical agenda any longer. I was definitely a part of that, and I respect some of my friends that are still in that vein. But for me personally, I don't ascribe to a evangelical worldview and paradigm and mission in the world. So I've left that. I do believe I am still a pastor. I'm still ordained. I'm still pursuing that. And then also that I am exploring mystic Christianity and interfaith spirituality. And so I will talk about interfaith spirituality in another video. Today is primarily focusing on mystic Christianity. What do I mean by exploring mystic Christianity? And simply put, mystic Christianity is more of an experiential Christianity. It's not necessarily based on dogmas or doctrines or creeds as much as it is on the fact of the Christ, the universal Christ, as we experience that in all things and all places in our life. So it's more of an experiential reality of Christianity, where most of Western Christianity is focused on, do you believe the Nicene Creed? Do you believe the Bible is inerrant? What do you think about your Christology and ecclesiology? And all of those things are what defines our Christianity. Mystic Christianity is more, how are you seeing visions in your meditation of the universal Christ? And what I mean by universal Christ is that it's overarching force, if you will. I know Christians hate to use that, but this Christ, this anointing, this separate from all other things, sacredness, how is this sacred reality that is deep in the hearts of all human beings coming to life? How is the Christ, how is the essence of our being, of our spiritual self being projected and realized and experienced in the world? And so I'll do probably another video on the Christ that's a little bit more thoughtful, but for lack of better terms, that's what I'm going with right now. So mystic is more experiential, and so not as much dogma, not as much what I think, but more so, how am I living the Christ? How am I being and becoming and seeing Christ in myself, in my world, and seeing all of these things reconciled into a more fullness and wholeness and hopeful reality based on love and unity and inclusion. That's what I'm talking about when I come to mystic Christianity. And so I had this person, I don't know if they want to be revealed or not, but I had this individual send me a message and they said, I'm new to this whole deconstruction thing. What's the difference between that, mystic Christianity, and progressive Christianity? Both are pretty hot topics at this point, pretty hot phrases. And so progressive, I would say, has been a phrase that's been around over the past 10 years, has been a little bit more popular, definitely more popular than mystic, but mystic has a much longer history and lineage. It's more of an ancient understanding of a spirituality. So I would say, just to really break down the difference between the two, is mystic Christianity has more to do with your soul, has more to do with the self. Mystic Christianity is about this unity with the divine, this oneness with being within yourself, with the Christ in you. This is experienced through centering prayer, through meditation, through a deep understanding of experience of God in our midst, among us, in us, and through us. Mystic Christianity is more of that soul space where we are in tune with spirit, and more of a transcendent experience is mystic Christianity. The term mystic. Progressive, I would say, has a little bit more to do with the head part and the body part of if you want to think in holistic terms. So mystic has more to do with the soul. Progressive, I would say, has more to do with especially the body. And then, certainly each of them can share different pieces of the, mind portion of that. But progressive then, to go way over to the other side, is more about the body. It's more about, what do we actually do now with the transcendence that we have experienced? What do we actually say? What do we actually do? What sort of bridges are we looking to build? What social justice are we orienting ourselves to actually join and get some skin in the real deal game of life to see actual movement and change happen in the world? So I would say being a progressive Christian is one who is social justice oriented, who is focused on inclusion and raising the voice for people who are marginalized, actually getting out there and doing things in the physical reality of the world. So it's being more prone to that. I would also say that progressive Christianity has that mind piece as well, which I think mystic can too. But what's been helpful for me is thinking about progressive Christianity also in terms of whenever it comes to theologies and dogmas and doctrines. How do I interpret that? How do I understand that? How do I unpack those things? And so progressive or expansive theology then comes to say that our awareness of the divine is constantly progressing. It's expanding. It's becoming into an enlarged place, I would say, every moment of every single day. As the evolution of humanity goes, so does the evolution of the understanding of God. That it becomes a larger, more widened place. So we progress in our understanding, or we widen the door progressively for God to be in our theology and our philosophy and our politics and all of the things and facets that concern thinking. How do we think about all of these things? So progressive Christianity is different from mystic Christianity in that it's social justice oriented, inclusion oriented, actually skin in the game oriented, thought oriented with your theology and your mind capacity for expansive realities. And mystic is going to be more of that transcendent, spiritual, meditation, visualization, connectivity in the deep sense of the core of our being to divine. So that's been my understanding in the union between mystic and progressive. I personally identify as both. Both have very much impacted my life. I've chosen to only use the word mystic Christian on my Instagram because I do think that progressive has a very political tone to it at this point in time. Although I do ascribe to it, certainly. So, and there's not very many characters given to me. So there's a lot of shit that I want to put in a short, space. So mystic won on that because I kind of tend to be more of a transcendent type of person. So I'm going to lean more towards the transcendent first and foremost. So I hope that helps you. I hope that bridges the gap a little bit between mystic Christianity, progressive Christianity, and seeing how we need all of this to encompass our mind, our body, our spirit, soul, in order to have a more well-rounded reality for the universal Christ. So hope that helps. If you would subscribe, leave a comment. That would be really helpful. Be loving to see some comments that I can dialogue with, and DM me some more thoughts and questions. I mean, this video and podcast is directly because somebody was like, you need to define for me a little bit of these terms, and I love doing that. So hopefully this helped you, and I look forward to making another video soon. See you again next time.